Hello and welcome to Lee Stafford Education online masterclasses. My name is Lee Stafford and I'm going to be your host for the next hour. As usual, guys, please ask as many questions as you want through the presentation. It can be about the recipe that you're seeing that's being shown today, or any recipe that you're learning at the Lee Stafford Education Academies, or anything to do with your career, guys. I mean, these sessions are set up to give you a spin on the recipes that you're learning in the academy on a day-to-day basis. But they're also here just to give you any advice on any questions about furthering your career. So there's no such thing as a silly question. We certainly won't make you feel silly for any questions that you ask. So please keep them coming. We've got a very special staff in the house today. She is recently a salon owner, and today Dayna is going to share with you a lovely spin on one of the most popular Lee Stafford Education recipes. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Dayna Roach.
Hey guys.
Hello, Dayna.
Hi Lee, how are you?
Good, you all right?
Hey everyone out there, thank you very much for being a part of today. It is a glorious day out there, so I'm so pleased to all have you here, even though the sun is shining. But on that note, today I'll be working through with you a take on our twisted tongue recipe, which is going to be our twisted beach wave. So it's perfect for the weather we've got going on today. What this recipe involves is, this is our finished result, so you can see that there's quite a lot of movement and texture she's got going on through there. And I'm going to show you how to go through that today. So the take on what is different with this compared to our normal Lee Stafford twisted tongue recipe is that we're alternating our sections when we're wrapping our tongue, and we're also using our tongue vertically. So that is going to help create some friction with our hair and with our styling, and to be able to give you a little bit more movement and texture with some root drag and some straight ends to give you that really nice lived in look that we all kind of want straight back from the beach.
Sounds good, Dayna. Sounds good.
Thank you. Let me just get set up. So we've got our mannequin here. Our pre-sectioning is the same as what you would normally do within your twisted tongue recipe. So we've got our 4 quadrants through here. We're going to start on our back right hand side, just as we would with our recipe. Working our way through, we're going to take, well, first of all, we're going to use our fingers to section, which is a lot different compared to the sectioning throughout the rest of the Lee Stafford videos that we've got going on. He likes a very clean sectioning, but today when we're working through our recipe, we're tonguing, we want everything to marry through quite nicely. So by just using our fingers just allows us to help all the sections melt into one, to just keep it effortless and soft, really.
It looks very, very clean, that section. You know, as you didn't use a towel comb. I mean, is that them sharp nails, Dayna?
I think it might be. Let's just give that manicure there. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So what we're going to do now is we're going to we're working on horizontal sections, and we're going to subdivide them vertically. So that allows us to have smaller sections vertically throughout the head. Again, our tongue, we're going to keep vertical through here. Let me know if you can see everything, guys.
Yeah,
I know that it's all good there. Perfect. Yeah. So we're going to twist, because we're twisting in opposing directions. One way we're going to twist clockwise, and the opposite way is going to be anti-clockwise. So as we're keeping our oh my gosh, I forgot our tongue vertical, we're going to work around and we're going to twist our hair as we're going through there, leaving some of the ends out to keep them loose. By keeping them loose, it's just going to give us like a really lived in, lazy vibe there. So she's looking fresh and not too polished.
What's the big difference, Dayna, because from doing it horizontally to vertically?
So by using the tongue vertically, it allows us to elongate our section and create some root drag in there. So when we're tonguing, we get a much softer result through that root area. So as we've gone through and we've normally, sorry, back to the beginning. Normally we would go through and do, we'd kind of cup the curl in our hand to allow it to cool down. This way, to keep it more lived in and relaxed, we're going to go through and we're going to stretch out that curl just to kind of, again, elongate that shape.
So you're doing the opposite here, whereas the original recipe, we was going for sort of maximum wave and curl. You're trying to pull that curl out a little bit.
That's it. Yeah, just to kind of keep it really nice and soft and to keep it just really effortless, basically. That's it. So as we go through here as well, we're going to go now anti-clockwise. So for those of you that don't know clockwise and anti-clockwise, this was, I'm not very good with my left and my right. So sometimes we like to, I would say you can either, we're going to twist towards the left or towards the right for you guys who are not very good with clocks, because I'm terrible at telling the time.
And what is the difference with that? Because on the original recipe, we twist it all in the same direction, don't we?
Yes. So
with this, you're doing alternate. How is that going to differ in the final look again, Dayna?
So creating alternate directions with our curls basically creates friction. So the curls don't sit within one another. They kind of bounce off each other. So by doing that, it's going to then create a little bit more texture for us.
Do you think that gives you more of a beach wave when it's coinciding?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. It's kind of, I guess, when they're all in the same direction, you do tend to get a much more of like when you brush it out, you can kind of have that vintage kind of S-bend look going through. But as you can just see through here, because the curls don't sit within each other, they sit opposing, it does allow us, when we finish at the end, it will just kind of give us a little bit more movement through there. So.
That's a nice little twist already, isn't it?
Thank you. Yeah.
Simple but nice and very meaningful at the same time, isn't it?
This is it. And I think as well with all of the looks that are coming through at the moment that our clients tend to bring in as inspiration in the salon, a lot of them are opposing textures, and they do tend to be like with this look as well. If you're trying to create this at home or explaining to a client how to create this at home, it's really nice because it isn't perfect. And if you have more movement or less movement as you work through, it actually lends itself to the finished result anyway. So you do tend to be a bit more forgiving with that, and it's quite nice. It's quick to do in the salon. It's quite nice to be able to show your clients how to do, because there's not too much involved really, and it's quite an easy recipe for them to be able to practice at home as well.
What would you do if someone came in and they had sort of quite frizzy hair naturally? Would you smooth it out first, or would you just go straight over with the tong?
Yeah, I would definitely smooth it out first. I think that your prepping before you tong is super essential. I find if we don't smooth down that cuticle slightly, what happens is as we're wrapping our hair around the tong, we do tend to get like kind of a frizzy wrap with our curl as well as we go through. So I think it's definitely essential to use some really, really great heat protection on there to really allow that to protect the hair essentially from all of the heat we're going to be putting on there, and that will help defrizz a little bit as well. If we're finding when we're tonging that we've got a little bit of frizz in our sections, we can use the tong over the top of the hair to really, really smooth down those the flyaways we've got going on through there as well, and that will allow us to have a little bit more root drag through there too, just to give us that lazy vibe going on.
And I notice also, Dayna, that you've got the clasps still left on. You don't take them off. You like to keep them on, do you? It doesn't give you any dents in the hair when you do that.
No, I don't find it does. I think that the biggest thing with this is for you guys out there who are going to be practicing this on all of your models at college and at home, this is the same tool that you would be using in your twisted tong recipe. You could go through and use a wand if you wanted to. But I find that if we've got the same tools in our toolbox that allow us to do different things, we're not as limited. So by not opening and closing our clamp, it does allow us to have a much more versatile way of using all of our tools.
Because you're not using that clamp at the moment, are you? Just wrapping the hair around it. Yeah,
that's it.
I did notice that you used it a little bit on the ends a minute ago.
Yes, so the ends there, where some of them we want them to be As we leave some of the ends out of our wand, or our tongue, sorry, what you'll find is sometimes they can be a little bit frizzy. So what we tend to do through there as well, as we pull this nice and straight to help kind of elongate that curl and create a looser vibe going on, we then just pop the clamps open, and we're just using it like we would with a pair of straighteners through there, just running lightly through, and this will smooth out those ends, kind of straighten them out and help us refine them a little bit. So they're not frizzy, but then we've got that kind of like that beached vibe really.
Nice. So does that make them wavy on the ends when you do that, or does it just sort of smooth it out?
So it just smooths it out really. So as we go through, because we're not going to be twisting the wand like we would normally if we were trying to create curl, we're just going to pop that through and just smooth the ends over. So the wand doesn't change direction. It is just kind of like you were going to be using it like a pair of straighteners.
So it's worth keeping that clasp on it just for that.
Oh, definitely. This is it. To use like a traditional, I guess, wand as such rather than a tong. That would definitely, you wouldn't be able to do that with that. So I find using a really, really good tong is actually better than a wand for me. There's more versatility in what our results we can do through there. So we're just smoothing over the top there.
And how often would you use this technique in the salon?
Oh gosh, we would use this daily. We've got quite a lot of long hair. It's really, really great on all of your, say, any balayage clients, any clients that have a lot of color. What tends to happen through there as well is by creating the curls going in different directions, that allows us to show up a little bit more of the color, where you've got some really lovely dark and light pieces, or show up the pops of the blonde. So we would use this, quite a lot, very, very often in the salon.
So just say hello to Michael Saunders. Hello, mate. Hope you're well.
Hi, Mark.
Lucy Watkins. Hi, everyone from Year 2 Apprentice at North Kent College. Hello, guys. Hope you're all well today. Georgie, one of our CADs. Lovely to see you, Dayna.
Hi, Georgie.
One of the other legends, Tony Wood. Perfect day for this look. Looks good, Dayna, already.
Here's Tony.
Please, anyone else, please let us know how you're feeling today. Give us some thumbs up, some emojis. Let us know how you're feeling about the little spins that Dayna has already put onto this classic twisted tong. Any questions? Keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming.
Thank you. I have to do a little shout out to my mum back in Oz. She is up at 11 o'clock this evening. Yes.
Is that your mum? Hello, mum. How you doing? Lovely to meet you.
Oh, we're getting a call after this. I'm just testing. She's watching. Yeah.
That's a proper mum, isn't it? Up till late watching you. Amazing. Amazing. Hello from Abingdon and Whitney College. Hello, Leanne. How you doing? Hope you're enjoying the sunshine.
Hi, Leanne.
This really is a perfect look for today's weather, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. When the sun was shining today, I thought this is it. This is it. We can pretend we're on that beach. We're on that Mediterranean holiday. We're in the English seaside. There's some beautiful places. Definitely.
Got another one here from Jane. Hi, Dayna. Great to see you. Love the twist on this recipe. Hello, Jane.
Thank you, Jane.
If combing over your curls, message here from Leanne. Thank you for this question, Leanne. Good question. Do you have a favourite comb to use and any particular products when you're finishing this particular look? What sort of products do you go for, Dayna?
So that's a great question, and thank you so much, Leanne. So with finishing this particular look, I would tend to just shape it out with my fingers and not use a comb, just to give it, again, that really, really soft, natural look we've got going on. My favorite product to use this is actually one of Lee Stafford's products. It is awesome. It is his texture spray. It's great because it is dry. It doesn't give you a really, really wet texture or a waxy texture. It's really beautiful to be able to spray through the ends. You can spray into the root, it just kind of grunges it up a little bit, and it takes the polished look off, but still allowing you to have a bit of hold. That's fantastic. But I would say with this particular look, I would just use your fingers, massage right in at the client's root, just to kind of loosen everything up. And
so just to blend it sort of together loosely, so there's no kind of section mark, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, sure.
And did you say it was a sea salt spray that you used?
No, it's the
dehumidifier one.
No, we've got the effortless texture spray.
Texture spray. Yeah, got that one.
That is the one.
But I suppose you could finish it off with quite a few different kinds of products, couldn't you? Really, all depending on the kind of vibe you want.
This is it. And also as well, if someone's got really, really frizzy texture in their hair, a really nice thing to be able to do is maybe pop a little bit of an oil or a cream through some of those ends just to help really smooth them out. You can also, I would probably avoid using too many oil on the hair when you're kind of trying to create loads of movement. Sometimes it can get a little bit heavy, but definitely something that is super lightweight. Sea salt spray is also awesome. That's really nice as well, because you then can tend to scrunch it in the ends afterwards, which then gives you a different kind of result because it's really quite matte. So as we get to the top three here, I don't know if you can see, but we're slightly, I'm dragging this root down through here. This is similar to what you would see in your Twisted Tom recipe. By doing this again, it just makes it more lived in. It's less like prom curl. It's less, refined. It is just kind of allows you to have it a bit more relaxed, like you've just had your hair up, basically. I wish everyone's hair dried like this after the beach, but
Tony Candy, hi from Brecon College. I see Tony Candy everywhere. That is one driven person, because I see her online, engaging in lots of people's sessions and seminars, and so all power to you, Tony. I'm sure you're going to go very, very far.
That is awesome. Do you know what? Drive is something that you never ever regret having.
No, absolutely not.
And always ask loads of questions, guys. Like Lee said earlier, there's no such thing as a silly question. We learn from everything all the time. Even the stuff that you think you would never get anything out of, there's always a learn in there somewhere. So
absolutely, guys. And I mean, if it could be about what you're going to do when you leave college. What sort of possibilities are there for you, and what opportunities, and there are so many different aspects of hairdressing you can get into these days, and so if any of you are interested in anything like that, or anything about entering awards or building a clientele or anything whatsoever, I mean, Dayna's just opened a first salon a few years ago, so I'm sure there's been lots of learns there from you, right, Dayna?
Oh my gosh, I never thought I would have a salon, and it just happened. And there's been so many learns, so many. And I think the biggest thing is that, like, you've always got to give something a go. If it doesn't work, there's always something else. And if you don't try, you never know. So you have to just, if an opportunity comes, guys, take it with both hands and run with it.
Absolutely. Leanne said, where is your salon located, Dayna?
Oh, so Leanne, my salon is located in Bury St Edmunds in Suffolk. So Bury St Edmunds is a lovely little quaint town, not too far from London. We're probably like, where are we, an hour and a half from London, 40 minutes from the beach. So I do tend to venture out there every now and then.
Why wouldn't you? And how many is in your team now?
There's 5 of us now.
5 of us, right? Yeah,
I'm just about to take on another apprentice, actually. So our new apprentice is due to start next week, ready for this year of college and everything, which is amazing.
And have you got an apprentice already?
Yes, we do. Yeah. I'm really, really big on apprentices. I did all of my training in Australia, and doing an apprenticeship was something that you should be so proud of. And it was a really, really great foundation for my career. And I think for a lot of people's careers, there's so much stuff that you learn within that. And like the apprentices that we have in the salon, we like to instill that this job isn't a job that you just have for a couple of years. This job is a job that you can travel the world with. It's a lifetime. You can pop in, you can pop out. There's so many different avenues you can go down, and it's fantastic. We get to make people look and feel great all day, every day.
Absolutely.
I don't know another job that you get to do that in, but our apprentices that we have in the salon, we tend to, my goal anyway with them is to play the long game. So when they're at college or when they're learning, there's always, for us, I would love to see them grow within my salon. So I train them like I mean to go on.
And do another question from Leanne, do your apprentices learn the Lee Stafford recipes?
Yeah, they do. Using the Lee Stafford recipes is a fantastic way to just help kind of instill the knowledge that they already have been learning throughout college. So the college that they go to doesn't actually have the Lee Stafford recipes, but thankfully we do. And Lee is, we're lucky enough to be able to use them within the salon. And I think using the recipes, they're broken down so well and so easy to learn and to take on that we do definitely try to, use them where we can. Actually, one of the girls on my finished doll, my finished mannequin, this is actually the long grad cut that our apprentice did.
Oh, really?
He prepped the haircut ready to go for this week. So we did that in training a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, we use it all the time in the salon.
And how have they helped you, Dayna?
Oh, do you know what? They've helped me massively. I never knew any of these recipes before I came on to be part of Lee Stafford. But even for me, being a stylist or a hairdresser who's been working in the industry for a while now, the really nice thing about it was everything goes back to basics. So I don't ever think you can overlearn foundation. And for me, it was just instilling that foundation in what I knew, but also breaking everything down into bite-sized pieces that are really easy to understand, and they're quite easy to take on. And again, there's ways, like Lee says, there's so many ways, different ways to make an omelette, or there's so many different ways to do a haircut. But the really, really nice thing about Lee's recipes is that they are super easy to learn and they're super easy to adapt to as well.
And do you find you're able, once you learn them recipes and you understand the A to Z and how you got there, do you find that you can squeeze them and stretch them and create loads of different looks in your salon from them fundamental recipes?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think without knowing that foundation from those fundamental recipes, I don't think I would have been able to do that. So there's so many recipes that do, like you say, they melt together, they merge together. You have a fringe from, one recipe and then add it into another, which is awesome. Definitely the cutting is amazing. Love it. All the guys love it as well.
We've got another question here from Lucy. Thanks for these questions, guys. Lee, what made you want to become a hairdresser? How do you pronounce that? My dyslexic's going in overdrive. Quaty? Can you see that, Dayna?
No.
Is it
Little Lucy?
Lucy, is it?
Yes,
QAT.
and I'm assuming North Kent College.
Oh, right, I'm reading that completely wrong. Please excuse me. What made me want to become a hairdresser? Well, I never even thought about being a hairdresser when I was at school. I never thought about any job, to be quite honest with you. I was so busy loving school and hanging out with my mates and what have you that, I never really took it that seriously, if I'm being honest. And when I eventually left school, and like I say, I was dyslexic. So, I didn't even do any exams before I left school. I mean, it wasn't a good situation. And I didn't know what I was going to do. And my mum, I was very close to my mum, and she used to love going to the salon nearly 3 times a week back in those days to have the big blowout, and I used to go with her to the salon, and she just said to me one day, Lee, you love fashion, you love ladies, the girls, you don't like getting your hands dirty and you don't like the cold weather. what about hairdressing? And I thought, yeah, why not? And I kind of fell into it by complete and absolute accident, really. But you know, I loved it from the minute I started to do it. I loved it. I mean, there's a reason why hairdressing was voted the happiest profession, you know, in the world out of all of those thousands of jobs that we could have possibly picked. You know, because, you know, and you touched on some of them already, Dayna. You know, you make people feel good all day long, didn't you? You know what I mean? And that is such a that is such a good feeling for yourself as well, isn't it? You know, when you know, because you can tell when people like it and don't like it, can't you?
Oh, amazing. And I don't think we really understand the impact we have on someone's life. You know, even a moment of them loving their haircut, that could take them on their moment of, you know, doing their hair for their wedding or getting that job they've always dreamed of. And I don't think we understand the impact of what we do for people, which is amazing.
And it makes us feel great, you know, and there's so many other reasons. I mean, the environment that we actually work in, I mean, it couldn't be a more perfect environment. It's got to be a perfect environment. It's all set up for our customers. And we have to work in that environment as well. So it's a lovely environment to work in. It's such a creative job, you know, and, you know, learning the craft itself. I mean, you know, that's like a lifelong journey, isn't it? You know, trying to, you know, get good at the craft, you know, and like I say, these days, what with awards and social media and, you know, I mean, the world's your oyster. It really is, you know, I mean, you can travel the world like the rich and famous really these days as a hairdresser. So, you know, I've been having plenty of these conversations recently with people because, you know, I think that, you know, a lot of parents and a lot of schools, you know, they just see a certain aspect of hairdressing, you know, and don't realise that there's a big wide world out there and loads of opportunities. And I know so many people that, you know, are in the hair game that are, you know, are extremely successful, not just financially, but, you know, in the way that they're loving life, so to speak, you know. So, yeah, I mean, I feel, you know, very, very lucky that I fell into hair because, you know, I've loved it. And I mean, I've only ever done one other job in my life. I mean, I was working in my dad's sausage factory for a few days. And then I really experienced clock watching, you know, just keep looking at your watch all day long. I mean, there's nothing worse than that, you know. And I mean, I bet the only time you look at your watch, Dayna, is to make sure that you're on time for your next customer.
Oh my God, always. Yeah.
But I bet you never look at your watch like you're bored.
No, not at all. Not at all. There's never a moment where you go, oh, what now?
No.
Oh, this haircut.
I don't think we appreciate how valuable that is. You know, that you're doing a job that is constantly kind of igniting you, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you're not ever getting bored and restless, you know. You just, you know, it's and I think, you know, for a lot of the students that are watching this, you know, especially when they go out into the big wide world, there's so much sort of trepidation, you know, to doing your first clients and building a clientele. I mean, I don't know about you. What was you like when you first got on the floor? Was you confident or was you quite anxious for a while?
No, I was definitely really anxious. And I remember going out into, my client would get in, and there was one time I would never forget this. I was like, oh gosh, she comes out. I could do a long haircut. I could do a blow dry, but I really realized I was probably doing the same haircut on every person just because I knew what I needed to do then. And at this point, this lady came in, she wanted a bob, and I absolutely freaked out. I was like, holy hell, how am I going to cut a bob? Like, where do I put my fingers? And now I laugh, and I went right into the back room and I said to the guys, oh God, guys, there's a client out there. She wants a bob. Like, how do I cut a bob?
I mean, how can you be bored when you've got that kind of adrenaline running through your body?
This is it. And, we got there, and the client loved it. It was great.
Yeah.
And that relief, and also knowing that you could actually do that and you could give someone hair that they loved was amazing. And yeah, it was tough. Every day was tough, but every day got easier. So you learned so many things. You were thrown right in the deep end, and I don't think they're kind of, the more someone held my hand, the worse I got. So I needed to just be chucked in and just go for it.
There's Lucy has also asked, what about you? What brought you into hairdressing, Dayna?
Oh gosh, Lucy, that is a good question. Like Lee, like I think I never really wanted to be a hairdresser. If anything, actually, I wanted to join the Air Force, which is very, very strange. Looking back now, I would think, why did I ever want to do that? And the position that I wanted to do there then was a wait, basically, before I could get into that. So I needed to find a job, and there was a salon in my local town in Australia that had a job going. So I went down there and cleaned the shelves for a day and got the job. And I have to say, I have never looked back now. Hairdressing has got me so far, and I can't believe I never thought that that was an option when I started. So definitely something that I fell into for sure.
And Shan B, are you going to bring out any new recipes? That is a good question. Well, Shan, is it Shan or Shan? Help me out, Dayna.
Shan, I think it's Shan.
Shan. That's a good question, Shan. I mean, these online masterclasses that we're doing now, we are doing 26 next year. So there are going to be 26 new recipes that we're going to be launching next year, which you'll be able to watch on YouTube like you're watching now. You'll be able to go back and rewatch them. And these recipes, these 26 recipes, these new recipes that that the STAFs are going to be creating next year, are all going to be a spin on the recipes that you are learning at the moment. So, you know, for example, the uniform layer, at the moment is about that long all over. But if you cut that uniform layer, like literally 1.5 inches, you've got like a pixie cut. So the STAFs are going to be squeezing and stretching the recipes, even adding a couple of recipes together, so that it's going to give you guys more of a repertoire when you go out into the real world. It's going to make you more salon friendly, because you won't be just confined to the recipes and then particular looks that you're learning in the college on a day-to-day basis. You'll have all those recipes, but you'll have all these other looks that are based on them recipes, but are just either, like I say, squeezed or stretched. So, yeah, that is you know, one of the big reasons why we're doing these online masterclasses, so that you guys, you've got more recipes in your arsenal to use when you go in the salon. Because I bet with you, Dayna, I bet that, you know, someone might come in and you might think, oh yeah, that's a uniform layer, but it's over directed at the front, right back, because she's got it long there, and maybe they've just cut a little bob line in the back, and you can kind of work out by looking at it, you know, what you need to do and what recipe you need to either stretch or squeeze to get it.
Absolutely. And I think the biggest thing, we were going through some haircuts the other day with our apprentice, and she said, what haircut's this? And she's showing me a picture, and the picture was, it was almost a mashup of 3 different haircuts together. And the nice thing about knowing all of the foundation is, once you understand all of that, you know where they sit on the head and what fits where. So there's definitely not just the recipes that we have, because they then turn into so many different things. And you, like Lee says, you can change it as well. So depending on where your finger angle is, or the length, or loads of things there.
Right, so Katie said, I'm coming to an end of my apprenticeship. Would be interested in working with James. Can you give me some advice? Well, I think the best person to give you advice on this is Dayna, because, you know, how Dayna got to work with me is a perfect example of how, Katie, you could end up working with James or anyone else that you'd love to work with. So do you want to share your story, Dayna?
Yeah, I definitely can. So my story started with Lee Stafford Education by being in a similar position to, was it Katie? Katie, yeah, where you kind of were you were feeling like you wanted something a little bit more, you wanted to explore other options. And for me, it was just trying to figure out what they were. So I was at Salon International one year, and I seen there was these two guys talking about Lee Stafford Education. I had no idea what it was at that time. And I thought, you know what, that sounds really cool. Like, I wish that there was something out there when I did college. Like, I wish that there was something that, I wish the foundation was there. I wish I could learn more about it. And I would really love to be able to share that with you guys as well, with other people out there, and be able to share all of those things. So I thought, this sounds quite cool. Let me just see what I can, well, how do I get into this? So I did a little Google online, found Lee Stafford Education website, and I literally just dropped them an email and just said, hey, I'm Dayna. I'd really love to get involved. You know, can you tell me more? How do I get involved? And I got an email back from Lee, and Lee's like, tell me a bit more about you. I was like, oh God, someone's replied. I didn't actually think I'd get a reply. But you just have to get out there and just, you know what, just get in touch with the people that you want to get in touch with. If you want to mentor, just reach out. Definitely reach out and just do what you can. And after actually dropping my email, telling you a little bit more, I then had to record a video of doing one of the recipes. I'd not seen these before. I had to pick one. Lee's like, right, pick one, record it, and send it back. And I was like, oh God, I've never recorded anything in my life. Like, being on camera, I find really scary. And I was like, oh no, I've got to send this thing through. Anyway, don't be afraid, just do it. There's a lot of people out there that would be sitting at home wishing they'd done something like that or taken the opportunity. So get out there, give it a go, drop James a message. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to get in touch and tell you more.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, Katie, is that, you know, James just might not have an opportunity at the moment. I mean, you know, he might. And if he hasn't, I'm sure there's someone else out there that will have an opportunity for you. I mean, just keep asking, like Dayna said, just keep asking, keep reaching out, and you will definitely get an opportunity. There's no doubt about that. I know that James has just set up a studio, you know, everyone needs some help, don't they? You know, I mean, for example, I'm sure you guys have seen Rory on here before, and Rory is one of the STAFs now, and Rory, you know, did a similar thing to what Dayna did. And he ended up assisting me for, I can't remember how long it was, but he assisted me for quite a few months for no fee to begin with. And in the end, he was so, you know, he was such an asset and so valuable, Rory, that, you know, I couldn't sort of be without him in the end. So, you know, he ended up being on my team and he got paid and now he's a STAF. And, you know, so, you know, you just got to keep knocking on them doors.
Absolutely. In the world's your oyster. Like, you know, you can go anywhere with this, and just keep trying. If you've got drive, use that drive to get you where you want to go, and you'll get there.
Leanne's asked another question, Dayna. In your salon, does everybody offer all services, or is there colorists or cutting, or do they do everything?
Awesome question, Leanne. Thank you for that. So yes, everyone in the salon does everything. We don't have anyone that specializes in, we have stylists in the salon that prefer certain things, that we might then actually get to push them into other directions. But generally everyone does everything. I think it's quite nice for a client to, you know, have the same person beginning to end. Well, that's how we work anyway.
So around the face here, Dayna, are you still just following the method of alternating the sections, but you don't mind when you get to the front if that section's going forward or back?
Well, this is a great question. So as we get to the front, I think the very, very front section we've got through here, through around her face, definitely I would say we want to go away from the face. By taking our tongue away from the face, it just enables us to open up the face shape slightly, bring out the cheekbones, and it just sits a lot softer, and the curl works really, really well there as well.
Nice.
So these ones, the last ones that we do around the face, we're definitely going to twist back away from the face.
Gotcha.
But you will still have an alternating section in the middle there somewhere, just to create a little bit more of that friction. So we have that movement and that texture through there as well.
Any more questions, guys? Some great questions here today. Any more questions for Dayna or myself? Does anybody use the twisted tongue already? What do people think of the twisted tongue? Is it something you're using regular?
Cool. So guys, as we get closer to this top section through here, you'll remember on the twisted tongue recipe that there's something that changes in our sectioning. So what we're going to do through here, when we get to our recession, we are still going to be working on horizontal sections with vertical subsections, as you can see through here. So we're going to take vertical subsections. This top section, as we get to the top, will slightly change. So we're still going to do, well, actually, only one part of that is going to change in this recipe. So I'll show you when we get there, but I just wanted to just remind myself and you guys that there is a slight change in this at the front as well. Just in the direction of our tonguing. And tell me this,
does your apprentice in the salon, would they sort of do a finish like this for you?
It depends really. When they're there and they're up for that, definitely. We do, our assistants or our apprentices help quite a lot in the salon. So they do tend to help blow drying, styling, but they definitely have to have lots of practice before we allow them to do anything on like a client level for sure.
So what are you finding is the most popular things people are having in the salon at the moment, Dayna?
Oh, good question. There's been a little bit of a shift. I don't know if you guys have found with the lockdown and everything like that, we're finding that balayages are still a massive thing. We've had loads of clients wanting to go short now. So going from like long to short has been huge, whether it is like a pixie cut if they're going to be really, really extreme, or whether they just want to take it off to their shoulders. They've had so much hair for so long and that's got to go. So we're quite, I guess you would say, a rural part of the country. There's lots of, Bury St Edmunds isn't a big town, but we're close enough to London where you do get a crossover of some people that tend to travel. So the biggest things I would say, definitely that the shag haircut or the mullet.
Are you seeing a lot of people having that done?
Yeah, we have started to, definitely. We've got quite a lot of American clients as well where we are. So there is an American RAF or military base not that far away. So we've got quite a huge following of American clients that come in, and they definitely do like to have a bit of texture and a bit of movement. But lots of younger clients now are definitely starting to want to have more shape around the face. I think that whole one length long, we're finding that that's definitely changing, and there's more shape going on around the front for sure. With one of our stylists is she's really cool actually. She's amazing. She is the girl for shag, if I can say that without sounding rude.
Yeah. Well, shag is a haircut.
Yeah.
It's in the dictionary.
Yeah. Is it actually?
That's 100%.
Wow.
Shag in the dictionary is a 70s haircut.
Love it. Yeah, we've got so she is the girl to go and see in our salon for a haircut like that. We do have quite a lot of guys that have long hair as well that come in. So we're finding actually fringes on guys, you know, that soft movement. Definitely there's a vibe coming from the 70s somewhere for sure.
So Lauren's got a very interesting question here. She said, I've just finished my level 3 at Halesowen College and done my first day in the salon, and they said I'm not fast enough on services, and next time I need to be faster. Do you guys have any advice for me on this? Do you want to go first, Dayna?
Yeah, great question, Lauren. I know that you want to get there and you want to keep pushing. I would say pace comes with practice. So the more you practice, the faster you'll get. And the more you do something, the better you'll get, essentially. I would say just stick it out and keep trying and practice at home. Do as much as you can to make sure that you can perfect everything you're doing and just go back over everything.
I mean, I'm surprised that I don't know how fast you was, or or how slow you was, Lauren. I mean, what did you do and how long did it take you? But when you first start on the salon floor. I don't know about you, Dayna, but you know, one of the luxuries you have normally is time. You're not fully booked the day you start cutting hair on the floor, right? If anything, it's the opposite. I don't know about you, but you might do one client a day, and you might do 2 clients a day, a few months. You know what I mean? It's like it's a slow process. You know, you have got the luxury of time. And of course, when you first go on the floor, you're not going to be really fast. You know, I mean, I always say to my assistants and learners that, you know, don't worry too much about time to begin with. You know, just try to get really brilliant at what you do. It doesn't matter whether it takes you 5 hours to cut a graduated bob. If you can cut it like it is in the Lee Stafford Education recipe, then you are, you know, up there. And then you can work on your speed. I always say, try to work on the perfection, or not the perfection, but, you know, your technique first, and try to get it. Like if you was emulating one of the recipes, for example, try to nail it to a 10 out of 10. Once you can do that, you know, your technique's solid, and you've got your, you know, you're talented. And then it's about working on your speed. Because I don't know about you, Dayna, but if you couldn't produce a really good look in 5 hours, what chance have you got in 45, 30 minutes?
Oh my gosh, exactly. You'd be totally winging it there, I have to say.
So I think it's all about just really concentrating on trying to do what you do as good as you can do it. And the speed will just come. I mean, what you're going through there, Lauren, all of us have been through when you first go on the floor. No one's going to be Speedy Gonzalez, you know what I mean, straight away. It takes time. Just like Dayna said, you know, so, you know, I'm sure when you're on the salon floor, you will be trying to go as fast as you can. But the last thing you want to do is go fast and then lose your way. And then before you know it, you've got all that sweat dripping off of your chin, you know, because, you know, you're panicking, you know. I mean, I just think that, you know, you can't, Rome wasn't built in a day, was it?
No, definitely not. And the last thing you want as well, like Lee's saying, you don't want to be that stressed out that your finished result is jeopardized because of the time that you're trying to rush through. The client's unhappy, the salon owner's unhappy. You know, it doesn't help anyone out. So definitely just keep working on the finish.
Yeah.
Like I said, if it takes you 5 hours to get that finish, it doesn't matter. If that finish is spot on, then with practice, the time comes with that. So
yeah, and clients are going to come back to you if you've done a great job. I mean, Laura's just said it took her 1 hour 45 minutes, and the color and the blood. So it looks like it's a 6-hour job.
Gosh, that does look like a big job. I did a
Yeah.
blow dry, which took me 1 hour and 45 minutes, and 40 hours for each smudge. Wow. Do you know what I would have to say, Lauren? That timing, that we would allow that timing in our salon for that. So you would be spot on.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, if they expect you to go quicker, I'm sure you will get quicker. But don't stress yourself out, Lauren. I mean, you know,
how far off the timing? If the result was good, the client's happy, and you can sleep at night knowing that you've done the best that you can do.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing worse than rushing something and then you realize that you've lost your way and, you know, it's just not working out. I mean, you know, that's not good for anyone, is it? It's not good for Lauren. It's not good for the client. It's not good for the salon. This
is it. That is soul destroying. Definitely. Cool. So as we work around the front, guys, we are, those ends are a little bit not smooth enough for me in there. So let's just keep smoothing them out a touch. So as we get to this front section in through here, I know that in the twisted tongue recipe, we tend to do one side first and then we get to our top section. So while we're working on the left-hand side, we're going to keep working on the left-hand side. I find it easy just to work our way up the head, and we can then start to melt all of our curls into the direction that the hair wants to lay naturally. So we can kind of build them up on top of each other and allow them to really melt in through that. So when we're finished and we're giving it all a bit of a rough kind of finger comb through, that will just work really well for us without having any section marks or anything through there. So what we're going to do through the front or through here, like in the twisted tongue recipe, we are going to, well, in the twisted tongue recipe, normally horizontal. We've been vertical the whole way through, so we're still going to follow our tongue vertically the way through, but we're going to over direct this hair so we're on our parting, and we're going to wrap this around the tongue vertically. We're going to hold this on the hair for a little bit longer than what we were everywhere else, just to give us a really nice crisp curl in there with a bit of hold. So as we want to comb it through with our fingers at the end, it will just kind of help keep giving us a really nice amount of shape in there. If you've got a client who always likes to touch their face, or they touch their hair and everything that you've just done is gone within an instant, it's really essential just to keep the tongue on there for a little bit longer, just so you can get that extra hold in there as well. I'm going to stretch him out and just smooth those ends over a touch there. Cool. And we'll start to see all that shape coming through here as well. And so I'm going to move her over for a second, because I've got another one over here that I've nearly...
Oh, I like that.
So she has had all of her hair done except these two front sections. So what we're going to go through and just show you these again so you can have a little look and see what we're going through there. Cool. So again, what we just did in that front section. So all of these ones through the sides in through here, you can see that we've got alternate version of that curl. It's really, really working. It's creating friction, but it's still, at the moment, you don't even need to, if you wanted to just give the hair a shake, that would still look really, really lovely in there. If you wanted to comb it through or brush it through, that will give you different results there as well. But already she's looking pretty fab. So
absolutely.
Thank you. Let's work on this front.
I love the different directions. I mean, it's such a lovely little twist on what, you know, the students have been learning at college at the moment.
Oh, thank you. It's really nice, because I think that it does create a bit more of a modern look, but still effortless at the same time. So it takes away from that prom curl. It takes away from that vintage curl. You can do alternate curls with your straighteners if you want to. If you're curling with your straighteners, you can curl with the tongue. The wand allows itself just by alternating your directions, just to give you a really, really nice, quite versatile, basically. Just going to smooth those ends over as well. Cool. We're going to work through our other section. So I'm going to work from behind the head. Where am I? Where are we? So if you're right-handed, on the left-hand side, you're going to stand with your body behind the section that you're curling. If you're left-handed, you're going to probably start on the right-hand side first. But then when we get to the right-hand side, we would normally be standing in front of this section. By doing that, it just allows us to wrap the hair around our wand without getting caught up in anything. What I'm going to do is just show you from the front, so then that way you're able to see exactly where we are without me standing with my back towards you.
So normally you would position your body over the other side, but just because you want people to see what you're doing, you're keeping your body on the same side.
This is it. So we're going to come through, and we're going to still keep twisting as we come through. If you've got a client who's got some really, really short areas around the front, if they've got like a grown out fringe or anything like that, it's really important that if the hair is having trouble staying around the tongue, that we just go a little bit slower over those areas, just to help really, really bend in those bits that want to poke out there and just kind of sit straight. So go slower around the wand if they've got any short areas. Cool. We're going to pull that straight in through here just to give it that nice relaxed vibes. And just go over those ends again, just to smooth out. Is this something, guys, that you would be able to use at college? You'd be able to use in the salon, on your clients? What are you thinking? On
your friends, on yourself?
This is it. Cool. So what we're going to go through here, like in the video with the twisted tongue, we've got some little clips in here. So we're going to pop these clips through just where where our curl is starting to sit. This is just, we're going to allow this to cool down in this shape. So we get a really beautiful shape through the front.
Them clips are nice because they don't actually leave any marks, right?
Yeah, this is it. They've got a really nice little rubber pad on there. Another little thing is when you're using them in the salon, you don't have any little clips that have any rubber attachments or anything on there. If you use a card and then one of your normal sectioning clips, they will just kind of allow you to just keep it flat without having any clip marks in there.
Do you think this is something someone would be able to do on theirself easy? Lucy's asked.
Oh, definitely, Lucy. That's a great question. Definitely doing it on yourself would be quite easy. Just have to make sure that when you're using your wands in different directions that actually, do you know what? This is really easy. Just thinking about that. It's so easy, Lucy. You'll definitely be able to do that. Watch your elbows though, because sometimes when you're trying to go around one area and the other, you may get a little bit lost in there. So just be a little bit careful with your fingers if it's your first try.
Cool.
So I know at the beginning you guys were asking what we're going to do to finish with this. So I'm just going to allow her to cool down for a couple of minutes there. And I'll show you what we're going to do in just a second. Let me switch over. Let's show you on the finished result we've got there. So this is our nice finished little look. She's already been combed through a little bit. So what we're going to do is with our fingers, I'm just going to give it a really good shake through there just to break up that curl, to blend in that root as well, where we might have any little section marks in through here. Just by shaking it instead of giving it a comb through is just going to give us more of that lived in look. You could get your client to pop the head upside down and give it a little bit of a shake. Just really start to create that volume in that root area in there.
Kate is asking, are you looking for an apprentice, Dayna?
Katie, thank you. We've just taken one on, but we're always, we've just literally, next week she's due to start. So we're always looking for good talent, definitely. Our team is constantly growing. So not right now, maybe, but you never know. If something doesn't work out, just keep getting in touch.
And you know what? I mean, the industry's crying out for apprentices at the moment.
Oh, massively.
And young stylists. So, just aim for the stars, guys. Just go for the best ones you can think of.
This is it. Don't, settle for anything. If you want something, keep trying. You'll get there.
Absolutely.
So when we are finishing through here.
So you've just used your fingers, really, Dayna. You've run your fingers through it a little bit.
Just run our fingers through, kind of just breaking up that curl, just visually looking at what's going on there. So there's not any kind of right or wrong way about it, I would say. Just kind of visually need to melt in that movement really there.
It's a real Instagram vibe, isn't it?
It's really nice because, I mean, again, with that conflicting, with the conflicting curls that we pop through there, it does allow you to kind of see pops of color if she was to have some color through there, where that you wouldn't normally get to see if someone was wearing their hair straight and you were styling it for, they had highlights or a balayage and you were styling that straight, you would definitely not have the same amount of movement that we've got going on through there as well. So all the same, you wouldn't really see the same. We've got color.
Looks
Thank you.
Really looks nice. I love the twist on it, because it's exactly what the students have been learning in college, but really the difference is you've gone vertical with your tongue and you've done each section opposite directions.
Definitely. So it is a really, really simple twist. There's nothing huge on there that you guys need to kind of wrap your head around. Like Lee said, it is literally, we're doing two different directions. One's going clockwise, one's going anti-clockwise, and our top is vertical. So depending on, where you wanted your curls to start from, you could, instead of adding the root drag in there, you could actually tongue from higher up to create a little bit more volume, which is quite nice. If you wanted to change the amount of texture you've got, again, you could always go through there and do smaller sections as you're wrapping around your tongue as well. So It's quite nice if you want to alternate the direction, as well as perhaps alternating the thickness of the hair that you're popping around the wand, because that will give you a looser or a tighter wave as well. So that will then create even more texture and movement throughout.
Looks brilliant, Dayna. Thank you very, very much. Great recipe, great twist on it. Really looks good. It looks really modern. Very, very nicely done. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for Dayna's mum watching. It's lovely to have you here. And we've got some more messages coming in. Jane says it looks fantastic. You were brilliant. Well done. Thank you all for watching, guys. I hope you have a lovely rest of the day. These online masterclasses, like I say, we're doing 26 next year. So yeah, and we'll just look on Lee Stafford Education on Instagram and what have you. We'll keep you all up to speed on what's going on there. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and have a lovely day. Take care. Bye, everyone.